Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Kadash, and belongs to those great meals so I let His truth, and also to the whole elect that is scattered abroad. I'd like to say shalom. And come back here today with another great and powerful lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So the title of today's lesson is, I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. So I'd like to say shalom to all our listeners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So there's a lot of things that's going on in the world, and that about a lot of things are getting ready to happen, and that about we read upon judgment, and that about first His judgment was started at the house of Israel. So we got a lot of people walking around with great pride. We got a lot of people are being ungrateful. We have a lot of people are constantly in their comfort zone, constantly are happy living in this wicked kingdom. And that about a lot of people are reprobates, constantly doing what they think they're doing their own will, which in fact, the only will of what it is what the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So a lot of people are walking in great pride. So great misery is getting ready to befall them. And that about we seeing all of the signs of the times here. We seeing that, great calamities that get ready to come upon us. And that about we seeing that, they already talking about what food short. They're talking about rolling blackouts. They're telling you about, all sorts of calamities getting ready to happen. They're telling you about, in October, that, they'll be giving out with the SSI and the Social Security, saying they're going to give out 2 checks. They won't be able to get a check in November. So a lot of things are happening. It's just because society is rolling out. A lot of things are happening in a big way. And out about that, we constantly warning people left and right. So He's getting ready to cease the arrogancy of the proud. A lot of people are walking around like they got everything all figured out. But that is about it. Everything is getting ready to change in a big way. And that about the hour of temptation is right upon us. And that about the men of the Lord, we're constantly sighing and crying left and right, warning you of these pending dangers that's coming upon us. And that about the Lord is getting ready to what? To bring that judgment. And that about hey, we constantly warning great death, great mourning. And that about the famine, pestilence, starvation. A lot of things are coming down the pipeline. You see what happened in Jackson, that's only the beginning. Jacob's trouble is getting ready to kick off. And who will be in trouble? The Negroes, the Latinos, the Mexicans, the Native Indians. And out about that, it's coming down to the wire. They're constantly going in all these different major cities, flooding throughout America. And out about, we constantly warn you left and right. It has begun. And out about the devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. And out about he knowing that his time is very short. And out about that, we're seeing all of the signs of the times here. It's time to what? Watch, pray, and be sold. So I got a few little video clips. Then at the video clip, we'll start the lesson. One moment. And a little late night snack. The Lord put the spirit on me. One moment. Let me open up this my phone right quick, and we'll start the first one.
Grim future that is ahead of us. Energy prices will continue to rise, pushing up the price of everything. The government will help by printing more money, causing inflation, causing more dissent and separation between the people. The fiat currencies will crash and become worthless, bringing in a reset of the economy. Life savings and investments will be wiped out overnight as the stock market crashes. Property, gold, and food will be the only thing of monetary value. The middle class will instantly be destroyed. For reference, see the French Revolution or the U.S. Civil War. The grim future that is ahead of us.
Hey family, once again, it's late and it's early, and this is my goodnight message. Please hear me to the very end. They're rolling out the digital currency within the next 9 months. Of course, the United States has said that they will roll theirs out in 2023. However, there is an acceleration of plans all across the nations of the world. There's an acceleration of the plans, and that's why they say you will own nothing and be happy. You know who they are. If you don't, look some things up and you'll figure it out very, very quickly. I know people are always stuck on the Illuminati, but that is the low class of their system. There are much higher classes than they, and that's why their names are not as known or as popular. So anyway, listen, the digital currency is the other form of control, and they will be able to control you by it. Trust me, here's how. Once they put people on the social credit score, as is already implemented in a very well-known country that we are aware of, several of them, as a matter of fact, once they give you the social credit score, in order for you to get your UBI, which is your universal basic income, each and every month for those that will allow themselves to be put on that system, they will have you by the horns or the tail. You decide. They will have you right where they want you, and you will comply because of the flip of a switch. They can wipe your bank account out. They can cause you not to be employable. They can put you on lockdown. Your cars, if you have electric cars, they will shut them down, all with the flip of a switch. Do you hear me? That's why digital currency is not crypto. It will be centralized. Cryptocurrency is decentralized. You need to know the difference. So listen to me. You need to start putting some things in place to help you to combat and come against their system and make you and your family ready so that you can be self-sufficient and not be relying on their system or doing things their way because they tell you to. And that will be their only way to control you. They're taking the weapons. They're working on that even now. If not the weapons, the ammunition that you will need to go into the weapons. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And what people really don't realize is the WEF is the new NWO. They're out in the open. There's nothing that they're doing hidden, not much anyway that they're doing without letting us know up front. Why? Because they feel like they're already fully in control. You take control for you and your family. Get your life back and know what you need to put in place and begin to do so now. You've still got time. Not as much as you had if you would have started out sooner or long ago, but you still have time, okay? So put the right things in place so you can get right results. Continue to serve the right God, and you won't have to worry about the wrong people, okay? I love you so much. Take care. Be safe. Be blessed. Be also ready. I love you. Good night.
If America goes down because of a global nature of economics and the value of the dollar as the currency of favor, when that dollar goes, the whole world that has been dependent on trade and commerce with America will go down as well. What kind of loss are you and we suffering because you refuse to accept the knowledge of the time and act in accord with it?
It's being reported now, so y'all might need to get prepared for this. It's being reported that in October, those people who receive Social Security and SSI benefits will be receiving October and November's checks, October 1st through the 3rd. Because there will be no checks being issued in November. I want to repeat this to y'all. There will be no checks in November. It is being reported that the checks for SSI Social Security for October, you will receive 2 checks. Y'all receive dos. 2 checks. Now, what does this mean? I'm still investigating it. But it sounds looking like to me, I think, if that's what happens, possibly because they know it's going to be a grid shutdown in November in order for Biden to make the announcement in December about the digital currency. Somewhere in there, something's going to happen in November, because if this is accurate, from what I'm reading and what I'm gathering, there will be no checks in November. Keep your eyes open, stay focused, and we're going to watch and see what happens.
Like today is the day. Get ready for possible rolling blackouts. That is the message today from state officials. Earlier, as you mentioned, we reached that emergency alert level 2, and it looks like in just about 30 minutes now, we're going to reach emergency level 3. That's the last step before rolling blackouts. As as the heat dome hovers over Southern California for the second week.
I'm only running my dishwasher once a week.
Many people say they're doing what they can
I have my AC at 80,
to save power.
and I'm only doing my laundry once a week.
But even all that might not be enough. Governor Newsom today said the state energy supply is dangerously low.
These triple-digit temperatures throughout much of our state are leading, not surprisingly, to record demand on the energy grid.
For the first time this summer, Cal ISO, the state energy supplier, issued an Energy Emergency Alert 2. 3 is the highest level before rolling power outages occur.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I had about a lot of things are getting ready to come to pass. And men of the Lord, we constantly sighing and crying. And I did about it that, great misery is getting ready to fall upon a lot of people, walking in great pride, the necessities of life are getting ready to change. Your way of life is getting ready to change. Global events are just going life changing events are getting ready to occur. And about everyone on the planet is getting ready to make a decision whether they want to or not. And about it, it's coming upon us at a fast pace. December the 13th, Also, they telling you about, these the people that's on disability, Social Security telling they will get 2 checks in October. And about you already know that's lining up, They got to reset everything. And about so everything is getting ready to go down to a zero battle. So great death and great mourning is right upon us. And about the Lord is getting ready to cause the arrogancy of the proud to see. And about a lot of people are still eating good right now, still living good. Still going on with their daily life. But everything is getting ready to come to a halt. And about it, the Lord is getting ready to bring it. And about we constantly warning you left and right. Judgment is right at hand. Judgment is all around us. And about it is getting ready to intensify. So we'll open up the lesson. One moment, we'll open up the lesson. We'll start the lesson. And I'd like to thank everyone on the comment board for joining me on this late night live. We can start in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. And it reads, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." So a lot of people, not considering, not thinking about their true power, and constantly thinking of themselves, being what? Covetous. Constantly doing things that's what? Displeasing to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. You're eating good. Your finance is together. You're riding. You are in your comfort zone. Under the air. Having the finer things in life. But all of that is getting ready to be cut off. And that about starvation is coming back in a big way. A lot of people will be killed in a great number. And that about it, a lot of people going to be in desperation. A lot of people going to be what? Homeless when these things come occur. A lot of people ain't going to know where next meal are coming from. Is not going to know where they're going to be bathing at for that night. So things about to get real. And that about a lot of people are scoffing and mocking the prophets, constantly making fun of us. But that about all of these things are getting ready to cease. A lot of people getting ready to be what? Quiet. And that about the Lord said, in that day, they shall seek him early, but they shall not find him. And that about because we warning you left and right. We are here. It is at the door. So a lot of people still are walking like they know everything. Still think, oh, that's not going to happen. This and that. In disbelief. You know what I'm saying? Constantly being despisers of the truth. And that about that we are here. It's all around us. And that about all hell is getting ready to break loose. So now let's drop down to 2nd Ezra chapter 8, and we'll drop down to verse 60. It said, "But they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him, which prepared life for them." Verse 61, "And therefore is my judgment now at hand." And that about the Lord judgment will first start at the house of Israel. I think it was in Memphis, Tennessee, that this guy, he just on a rampage, that spirit of vengeance, this guy, I think he was 17, 18, maybe 21 years old. But anyway, his name was Ezekiel. It was all over TikTok and several other social media site. And that about he went out on a killing spree. And that about it's going to only intensify. The Lord is getting ready to come down on the truth there. He's finna let the devil, which in fact is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's getting ready to come down with great wrath. And that about it, we constantly warn you left and right. It is here. It's all around us. And that about a lot of people are still are not thinking, still are not considering. And that about it is at the door. It's knocking at the door loud and clear. And that about we seeing that, this red devil is getting ready to try to perform his enterprise, what his evil agendas, his evil plans, and not about we're not ignorant of Satan's device, and not about everyone that is thinking that they got it going on and still thinking that they're a good case. It is getting ready to cease, and not about the Lord is getting ready to set everything back into order. So now let's get another quick precept before we open up the lesson. Let's go to Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 47. Lamentation chapter 3. One moment. Lamentation chapter 3 and verse, I think it's verse 6 of them I'm trying to get to. No, Salakia, one moment. Lamentation chapter 3 and verse, one moment. Let me find it. Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 47. Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 47. And it reads, said, fear and a snare is come upon us, desolation and destruction. Let's read that again. Lamentation chapter 3 and verse 47. Fear and a snare is come upon us, desolation and destruction. And I about a lot of those fears and those snares are going to be what? These food shortage, these water shortage. You know what I'm saying? Also, this digital currency. You know, these going to all be snares and trap. You know, a lot of people going to line up. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to be in desperation because they're going to want the normalcy to come back. But it's nothing going back the same. It's only going to get worse and worse. And out about it, the Lord said, through much tribulation, ye shall enter the kingdom of heaven. So that everybody know everyone is getting ready to be tried. Everyone is getting ready to be found worthy. If you're not found worthy, you will be destroyed. So a lot of people still love it here, still are being covetous, you know, still are trying to grow and build in this fallen kingdom, which in fact is AKA Babylon the Great. This place has fallen and the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place with what? That fervent heat. So that desolation and destruction is right upon us. And out about the Lord is getting ready to what? Cease the arrogancy of the proud. A lot of people are still walking around with great pride, still are being unbelievers, don't have the faith, and the Lord is getting ready to cut all of that off. And out about we cannot wait. So now let's start in the book of Isaiah, chapter 13. The book of Isaiah chapter 13. We'll start at verse 6. The book of Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 6. And it reads, say, howl ye, for the day of the Lord. Say, howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as destruction from the Almighty. Verse 7, therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man heart shall melt. Verse 8, and they shall be afraid, pains and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one to another. Their faces shall be as flames. Verse 9, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, but both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So that's talking about we coming at the time of what? Jacob's trouble. We're at the beginning of sorrow. So a lot of people going to be faint-hearted. A lot of people going to be out of their mind when this time of trouble come. And everybody know when that December the 13th hit, you know, and the money goes, and all hell is getting ready to break loose. A lot of people going to be sedition among men, insurrection. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a lawless time. People will not regard the law enforcement, will not regard the government, not will regard the military. Everybody it's going to be kill or be killed. So when people start starving, when people don't have their necessities of life, their medical supply, people going to be in desperation, you know, in great sorrow. And that about right now, you know, the truth are they in the house of murder. But that about the Lord is getting ready to cut all that off. He finna cease. And that about he said, in that day, you shall know that I am the Lord. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Woo, man, I'm telling you, we here. So now let's start back up. Isaiah chapter 13. And we'll start back up at verse 11. And it read the title of the day lesson. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wares of Ophir. So that about in that time, you know, everyone, you know, a lot of these women, wicked Negro women, not all our women, but the one that's still in this world, you know, in that time, they're going to need a man. And that about it, because a lot of men that right now that are part of the truth that they will be destroyed. And that about a lot of these women's going to be in desperation. A lot of women going to need help from a man, but a man of a Lord. You know what I'm saying? So that about they are scoffing and mocking right now, still thinking that, hey, hey, you can't tell me what to do or whatever. Hell, I got this on my own, but that ain't about it. And that day, everyone is getting ready to be brought low. All the proudness, all the haughtiness is getting ready to cease. The people that doing things that's displeasing, right? Still thinking that everything is going to be good. Still thinking that things going to go back to normal. Ain't nothing going back the same. We constantly warning left and right. Also, they had a little problem with the EBT that snapped the food stamp. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, laying back in their leaves, being lazy, depending on what Esau eating, what depending on Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Trust in the strength of Egypt. And that about so I think it was last month, a couple of weeks ago, that that the EBT system was down. So a lot of people was very angry, talking about why is this, why is that? You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do when there is no food? When you cannot go to your to the grocery store, when you go there and all the shelves of what are bare. So the sown places are becoming what? Unsown. And that about we constantly warning you left and right. So starvation is coming back in a big way. A lot of people are getting ready to die in a great number. Starvation is coming. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not prepared. And not about they getting ready to get a what? A wake-up call. And not about, we come to the warning. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said, my servants shall eat. They shall be hungry. My servants shall drink. They shall be what? Thirst. They will be what? Howling and vexation of spirit. Because we're very close. So a lot of our people still thinking that, they got it all figured out. Still talking about white man Jesus. Still thinking about everything is going to be right. Everyone can be saved. But you're in for a rude awakening. And that about all hell is getting ready to break loose. And that about it's called what? Jacob's trouble. So let's go to Jeremiah. Let's get a quick precept. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Just a quick lesson through the Spirit. And I hope that you get edified by the lesson today. Jeremiah chapter 30, one moment. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. And it reads, said, at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So that time of trouble is getting ready to kick off. So when this economy crash, and also when the dollar crash, so when they tell you you cannot use the what? Fiat currency, the petrodollar, and that about it, you got to what? Get on this, what you call this universal basic income, so where they gonna give you allowance, and you got to buy and sell where they want you to sell it, and also you got to take that, that hokey pokey, that Revelation chapter 13 is coming alive and clear. It said at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, it surely will come. And that about it is at the doorstep, and that about we constantly warning you left and right, it is here. And that about it, a lot of people are still, hey, you know what I'm saying? Jacob's trouble. Who would be in trouble? People of color look like us. You know what I'm saying? And that about what? Israelites. And that about the devil is getting ready to come down with that great wrath. We constantly warn you left and right. It is here. It is at the door. So now let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50. One moment. Jeremiah chapter 50. And we'll start at Jeremiah chapter 50, and we'll start at verse 29. One moment. And it reads that, call together the archers against Babylon, and ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her works, according to all that she has done, do unto her. For she has been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Verse 30, therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in the day of the Lord. Verse 31, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, says the Almighty of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. So that about it, the Lord is visiting the earth that he created, and that about who is the most proud, which in fact, that is what, AKA Babylon, the great America. And that about a lot of people, what, they're spoiled. You know what I'm saying? They're used to what? Getting their way, eating good and drinking good. You know what I'm saying? You're not thinking about war over here, because war has never came to America. But that is about, this is getting ready to be a war, a battleground. You know what I'm saying? When that invading force come in here, you know what I'm saying? Those UN troops, those Gerga troops, those super soldiers, what we've been telling you about, a great multitude is what is kindling around us. And that about it, China and Russia troops. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things to get ready to come upon, aka Babylon the Great, because of what? Because of great pride, because of what? Wickedness and sin. You know what I'm saying? Has what? Exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And now about the Lord is getting ready to cleanse this place. And now about with that fervent heat. And now about the Lord is very angry. He's angry with the wicked each and every day. And now about your comfort zone, your way of life is getting ready to change in ways that you don't know how. So a lot of people, what? Gonna give up the ghost in that day. A lot of people just gonna be dropping dead. And now about we constantly warn you left, right. And a lot of people is what? Gonna line up like clockwork and take that, you know what? And also you don't want to be a part of this what? This beast banking system. And now about it will only lead to what? Your death and destruction. We constantly warn you left and right. So the Lord will cause the arrogancy of the proud to see. You know, a lot of people walking around like they have it all figured out, thinking that they knowing that, hey, that's not going to happen. America's not going to be attacked. How? Hey, America is getting ready to go down. You know what I'm saying? With a great flames. You know what I'm saying? Man, if it go down, this place, it will get ready to be totally destroyed. There will be no what? No inhabitant left here. And we constantly warn you left and right. If you're not getting beamed up, you're getting what? Burnt up. So now, let's go to one moment. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 15. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Get a quick precept. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. That's a quick lesson through the Spirit. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And we're going to drop down a verse. I think it's verse 49. One moment. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 49. And it reads that I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses and destruction and death. And that's getting ready to come upon us. You know, they're already talking about famine. What is that famine? These food shortages. We're seeing these water shortages. We're seeing flooding throughout across America, throughout the world. Now the plagues are what? Going to intensify. They are not slacking down. They're going to constantly come like a domino effect. So when this money go and when this economy crash, all hell is getting ready to break loose. It's going to be a lawless time. Sedition among men. They will not regard what? Old, young. You know what I'm saying? They will not give a care. It's going to be what? Egyptian against Egyptian. Civil unrest. You know what I'm saying? Civil war. It's right upon us. So now, let's drop down to 2nd Ezra chapter 49. We'll drop down to verse 57. And it reads, says, thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, and all of thy shall perish with the sword in the field. Verse 58, they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread, and thirst of water. So that starvation is getting ready to come in a big way. So that everybody, when they get ready to reset everything, and if you're not going along with this new world order, then you will what? Starve to death. You know what I'm saying? They're going to take you. You will be out of what? Society. And out about it, you know, they're trying to force you in a what? A chokehold. And out about anyone that what? Submit. And anyone that, you know what I'm saying? Take that, you know what? Will be trodden underfoot. You will be totally destroyed. You will be cut off from your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So the Lord is getting ready to cease a lot of reprobates, a lot of truth-third that's constantly walking around here, constantly thinking that they have it all figured out. And everybody that, hey, you don't have anything figured out. A lot of people don't have no idea what is getting ready to happen. And everybody that, hey, it's getting ready to be a bloodbath. So now, let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16. And we'll start at verse 36. Just a quick lesson through the Spirit. And I hope that you get edified once again. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and we'll start at verse 36. And it reads, said, believe the words of the Lord, receive it, believe not the gods of whom the Lord spoke. And I advise that, you know, a lot of people are blinded by the God of this world, which in fact is the physical counterpart of Satan, which in fact is the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So a lot of people are constantly, you know, walking, you know what I'm saying, in the congregation of the dead. You know, they still going on with their daily life, not thinking about that, hey, this place would be totally destroyed. Not thinking about that, you know, they get ready to lose everything on this side. And that about a lot of people got, you know, still going to try to save their life, but they get ready to lose their life. And that about the elect, which in fact are the true believers. We have given up our life. And that about to order to what? To gain the entire universe, immortality, rulership, spiritual power. So that about we believe the Lord, we fear the Lord, and that about we knowing that what our salvation is very close, then we yet believe. So now let's start back up. 2nd Area chapter 16, we'll start back up at verse 37. It said, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. Verse 38, it said, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her wombs, which pains when the child comes forth, they slack not a moment. So that about it, that this is the struggle in Rebecca's womb. And that about it, you know, it's only going to intensify. And that about it, you know what I'm saying? We have the final conflict. And that about it, the Lord is getting ready to bring that change. Righteousness is getting ready to flourish in the earth. And also what the truth is what is being declared. The Lord said, you know, that this gospel shall be preached throughout the 4 corners of the earth. Then shall the end come. And that about we are very close to the end. And that about because why? We're seeing all of the signs of the times are here. We're measuring what? The time diligently in itself. And that about it, hey, we are here. And that about it, just like clockwork. And the Lord's word is not returning to him void. Woo! So now, let's start back up. Let's start back up at verse 2nd Area chapter 16. We'll start back up at verse 4. It said, O my people, hear my words. Make you ready to the battle. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. And that about itself. So when that time of trouble come, and that about we got to what? Follow the Spirit. The Lord said, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the time. You know what I'm saying? This understanding, this wisdom, this gospel. So you got to detach from this world. And that about, you know what I'm saying? Physically and also spiritually. And that about, you know, we must what? Trust and believe in Yahweh. By Hashem Yahweh. Let the Lord what? Direct our path. Lean not on your own understanding, but trust and believe in Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. He is the only way, and he is the only answer. And that about it, the times are getting ready to get rough. So we're gonna be like a pilgrims among the earth, moving from what place to place. And that about wherever the Lord lead us. And that about you already know, you know, he will protect his elect. And that about it, his hands is upon us. And that about we're covered in his precious blood each and every day. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. We are here. It is at the door. And that about that Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 said you would not be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark. And that about this beast banking system. And that about it, you know what I'm saying? So they get ready to cut you off from society if you don't be a part of this wicked nightmare they're getting ready to try to bring up this new world order. But the new world order, what is coming is what? The kingdom of heaven. Whoo, we cannot wait. We are very, very close. And that about the Lord is getting ready to do a mighty work. So now, let's start back up one moment. Let's start back up at verse, start back up one moment. We'll start back up at verse 41. 2nd Area chapter 16 and verse 41. It said, he that selleth, let him be as he that flees away, and he that buys as one that will lose. Verse 42, he that occupies merchandise as he that has no profits by it, and he that buildeth, let he that shall not dwell therein. Verse 43, he that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard as that shall not gather the grapes. Verse 44, they that are married as they shall not get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. Verse 45, and therefore they that labor in vain. So the grinding of the cease is getting ready to cease. You know, everything that we do, like going to work, you know what I'm saying, buying and selling, marrying and giving into marriage, all these things are getting ready to cease. Your way of life is getting ready to change in a way that you do not know how. But the Lord said, for the elect's sake, those days shall be short. So the Lord is what? Accelerating time. Time is just speeding up. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we are at the time. You can't keep up with the days and the hours right now. And so much prophecy are just constantly popping off. And that about the Lord is getting ready to return. And that about we must what? Watch, pray, and be sober. So now let's go to one moment. Let's go to one moment. Let's go to Zephaniah. Zephaniah chapter 1. One moment. Zephaniah chapter 1. One moment. Zephaniah chapter 1. Let's see. Zephaniah chapter 1. And we'll start up. One moment. Let's start up at verse 10. Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 10. It said, and it shall come to pass in that day, says the Lord, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hill. And out about it, that's talking about that economic collapse. And out about it, it's going to be worse than the Great Depression. One moment. Alarm was going off. So it's going to be worse than the Great Depression back in the 1930 or 1932. It's going to be worse than that. It's going to be worse than '08. And out about when it crashed this time, it won't be no more coming back from that. And out about this place is getting ready to be a third world country. So once that dollar go, all hell is getting ready to break loose. Civil unrest, insurrection, sedition among men is getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to be it's going to be a lawless time that we have never seen before. Jacob's trouble. So now let's start back up at verse 11. He said, "How ye inhabitants of Mashtop, for all the merchants people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." And everybody's talking about, the grinding is getting ready to see. You won't be getting up going to work. And everybody, when they start that universal basic income, and everybody, they're going to give you a ration. And everybody, if you don't go along with the program, they would cut that off. And everybody, you'll be, starving. You won't have nothing to provide for your family. And so a lot of people going to think about their family, trying to get back to normalcy. But that about it's nothing going back to normal. They're getting ready to try to make you a petrol slave. And that about it, what I'm saying? If anyone consent, that's it. You're going to get flatlined. So now let's start back up. Zephaniah chapter 1, and we'll start back up at verse 13. And it reads that, "Therefore their goods shall become a booty, and their houses a desolation. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof." Verse 14. "The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and hasten greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly." Verse 15. "The day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble, and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness." Verse 16. "A day of the trumpets and alarm against the fenced city and against the high towers." So that is about, so in that day, it's going to be so great. So when the Lord returns and those IBCMs, Pelvic America, it's going to be a day of gloominess and great darkness. So the Lord going to come in the midst of what? A World War III. All this economy is going to collapse. In the midst of all this mayhem, the Lord is going to show up and show out. He's going to cease the what? The arrogancy of the proud. And everybody, hey, we are here. And everybody, it's getting ready to go down. And everybody, hey, the great day of the Lord, it is fast approach. And everybody, we cannot wait. We hasten the great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So now let's start back up. Zephaniah chapter 1, and we'll start back up at verse 17. And it reads, "And I will bring distress upon men, and they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung." Verse 18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell upon the earth. So in 1 hour, this place is going to be totally destroyed. And everybody, hey, we constantly warn you left and right. So your silver and your gold, which in fact, your money, your finance would not be able to help you in those days. It would be worthless. And everybody, if the Lord is not dealing with you, you will be totally destroyed. And everybody, we constantly wonder, we are here. It is at the door. The Lord is visiting the earth that he created. And everybody, he's getting ready to cease all of this wickedness. He's getting ready to cease all these people walking around in great pride, reprobates, good for nothing, useless eaters. The Lord is getting ready to cleanse this place with that what? With that fervent heat, the indignation of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So we'll get one more and we'll close out. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 26. We'll close out here. Isaiah chapter 26, and we'll close out right here. One moment. Isaiah chapter 26. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 21. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 21. And it reads, for behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her sin. And that about it, we read upon judgment. Recompense and judgment is right upon us. And that about the Lord is getting ready to visit the earth that he created. And that about the plagues are not going to slack down. We're seeing that, they're telling you about what food short. They're telling you about water short. We're telling you about, they're saying about what a drought over in the West Coast. And that about also the East Coast talking about all those, the PSA telling you about the water had arsenic in it. Poison in it. Everybody, the plagues are not slacking down. We're seeing that, in Jackson, Mississippi, people are not without a flooding water. And that about Jacob's trouble has begun. And that about we at the beginning of sorrows, great depth, great mourning. And that about the Lord is constantly little by little ceasing the arrogancy of the proud. And that about so a lot of people are beginning to see it's something is going on. These guys that were walking around in these dresses, we seeing that they was telling the truth. And that about it, that's why the Lord said they shall seek him early, but they shall not find him. And that about desolation and destruction is right upon us. In the middle of the Lord, we constantly warning you left and right. So when that dollar crash, all hell is getting ready to break loose. And that about your well life, your necessities are getting ready to change. And that about world changing events is getting ready to come upon us. Life changing events. And that about everyone is getting ready to make a decision, whether you want hear or forbear. So the title of the daily lesson, once again, is I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to see. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikakadash. I like to say Shalom. I like to say Shalom for everybody on the comment board for joining me on this late night live. I like to say Shalom, Shalom.